Just when you thought this case couldn't get any stranger, a secret vault is uncovered, a fired assistant speaks out, and never-before-heard audio raises chilling new questions about what really went on behind closed doors. The trial surrounding music mogul Diddy Combs has taken a dramatic new turn, and what's now coming out in court is leaving the public stunned. In this video, we'll walk you through the most intense revelations from the latest week of testimony. From a climate-controlled cabinet full of bizarre contents, to a former assistant claiming he was fired over a forgotten fanny pack, and disturbing claims involving controlled substances and private messages. This story is unraveling fast. The mystery vault that sparked new questions. In a case already filled with twists and troubling testimony, few revelations have hit as hard or raised as many eyebrows as what prosecutors are now calling the vault. During the latest court proceedings, federal agents testified about a climate-controlled storage unit, a sleek, locked cabinet found inside Sean Combs' Los Angeles and New York properties. What made it unusual wasn't just that it was hidden in plain sight. It was what it reportedly contained. According to testimony, the cabinet held an assortment of personal items, baby oil, cigars, lubricants, and a number of other adult-related materials. These objects alone wouldn't raise legal red flags, but in the context of the ongoing allegations, they've taken on a more disturbing weight. Prosecutors argue the vault may point to a pattern of behavior tied to broader claims of coercion and control, while the defense insists it's all being taken out of context. To be clear, the vault itself is not illegal, and there has been no confirmed criminal activity tied to the cabinet or its contents. But its existence has sparked intense speculation about whether it supports the prosecution's theory that behind the glamour, Combs maintained a highly controlled and potentially exploitative private environment. More importantly, the vault wasn't mentioned in earlier filings, suggesting its discovery came late in the investigation. That's raised questions among trial watchers. What else hasn't been revealed yet? But as strange as the vault may be, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Because what one of Diddy's former assistants said next sent even more shockwaves through the courtroom. Fired over a fanny pack? Just when the courtroom was still processing the mystery vault, another voice stepped into the spotlight, this time from inside Diddy's own inner circle. According to public testimony and media reports, one of Sean Combs' former assistants, Brendan Paul, revealed a bizarre detail that raised more than a few eyebrows. He claimed he was fired on the spot for forgetting Combs' fanny pack. At first glance, it sounds almost comedic. But what Paul alleged next cast the incident in a far darker light. According to him, this wasn't just about a forgotten fashion accessory. The fanny pack, he said, often contained items that were highly personal and possibly illegal, though he stopped short of detailing them explicitly in open court. Prosecutors used this moment to suggest that the firing wasn't about forgetfulness, it was about protection. That certain items being left behind posed a risk. Paul described the environment around Diddy as unpredictable and intense, with loyalty valued above all else. What makes this testimony even more significant is how it fits into a broader pattern described by other witnesses, an atmosphere of control, secrecy, and blurred personal-professional boundaries. It's important to note that these are allegations and claims made under oath, but they remain unproven. Diddy and his legal team continue to deny all wrongdoing and have maintained that these stories are either fabricated or twisted out of proportion. Still, the court is beginning to hear consistent themes from people once close to the music mogul, each painting a similar picture, one of a tightly controlled world where dissent wasn't tolerated and where consequences came swiftly. But even that wouldn't prepare anyone for the next courtroom bombshell. The emergence of never-before-seen text messages between Diddy and Cassie, and what they allegedly revealed. The texts that changed everything. As the trial entered its next phase, the court was introduced to a fresh batch of evidence. Private text messages allegedly sent between Sean Combs and his former partner, Cassie Ventura. And while the messages haven't been publicly released in full, descriptions of their contents have made headlines for their emotional intensity and potential implications. According to sources familiar with the case, the messages paint a complicated and, at times, troubling picture of their relationship. In one exchange, Diddy is said to have demanded that Cassie fix things with her now husband, Alex Fine, at his request. The tone, reportedly controlling and urgent, gave prosecutors a new angle to explore whether Diddy attempted to manipulate Cassie's personal choices even after their relationship ended. One message reportedly showed Combs pushing for Cassie to reconnect with Fine under specific conditions, raising questions about coercion and personal interference. Again, these claims are unverified and remain under legal scrutiny, but the courtroom's reaction said it all: audible gasps, shifting in seats, and an undeniable shift in energy. These texts came on the heels of broader accusations from Cassie that spanned years, claims she first made public in a now-settled civil suit. While Diddy's team has strongly denied those allegations and emphasized that the messages are taken out of context, the timing of their release and their tone has reignited debates online about power dynamics, influence, and emotional control. It's important to stress that no formal charges have been brought based solely on these texts, and that context matters deeply in how any messages are interpreted. But as the trial continues, this digital paper trail may play a pivotal role in shaping public perception and perhaps the final outcome. Still, if these messages were revealing, the next development was downright bizarre. A resurfaced report about a secret vault wasn't the only odd item in question. Another witness brought up a drawer full of baby oil, and that raised a whole new set of uncomfortable questions. The drawer that raised eyebrows. As the courtroom dug deeper into Diddy's private world, a peculiar yet widely discussed detail emerged, one that made its way from whispered rumors into official testimony. According to a witness who once had close access to the mogul's home, there was reportedly a drawer filled with baby oil, kept in what they described as a very specific and frequently used location. While the presence of such a personal item isn't unusual in itself, the witness claimed it was used during private interactions with multiple individuals, raising questions not about legality, but about patterns of behavior and power dynamics behind closed doors. Prosecutors used the moment not to sensationalize, but to illustrate what they suggest was a calculated environment, one where intimacy, control, and hierarchy blurred the lines between personal and professional boundaries. Of course, the defense argued that such claims were speculative and irrelevant to the central case. Diddy's legal team dismissed these descriptions as salacious distractions meant to sway public opinion. They've consistently maintained that any private interactions were consensual and that the stories being told are being exaggerated or taken out of context. Still, the courtroom was left with an image, one both oddly mundane and deeply symbolic. It wasn't just about what was in the drawer, it was about what that drawer might represent. A curated world where image, access, and control intersected in unsettling ways. But as strange as that detail was, the next topic raised the stakes even higher. The court was about to hear serious accusations from multiple sources, involving allegations of secrecy, intimidation, and possibly witness manipulation. Fear, loyalty, and intimidation allegations. As the trial moved forward, the courtroom shifted its focus to something that has long been whispered about in industry circles, but rarely said aloud under oath: a culture of silence. Multiple witnesses, speaking on the condition of anonymity or under protective orders, described what they called an environment of unspoken pressure and fear. One former assistant testified that after making a simple mistake, allegedly forgetting to bring Diddy's designer fanny pack, he was abruptly fired. On the surface, that might sound trivial, but the testimony took a darker turn when the assistant claimed that the firing felt more like a message than a management decision. "You don't cross him. he reportedly told the court, even accidentally. Others who had once worked closely with the music mogul echoed a similar sentiment. Some described a loyalty-first culture, where stepping out of line or even showing sympathy to the wrong person could mean losing everything: your job, your connections, or your safety net. What's most important here is the legal framing. None of these statements alone serve as proof of criminal wrongdoing. They are, however, being used to build a picture, a mosaic of stories, testimonies, and patterns meant to show how power may have been wielded behind the scenes. To be clear, Diddy's defense team has vehemently denied any claims of threats or coercion. In their eyes, these are simply former employees with axes to grind or personal stories taken out of context. They've pushed back, stating that no one was ever forced into silence, and that if any fear existed, it's now being exploited for headlines and lawsuits. But viewers watching the trial unfold are left with a lingering question. In a world built on status, access, and image, what kind of pressure does that environment create? And how far does loyalty really go? The mystery deepened even further when reports surfaced about a private vault hidden within one of Diddy's residences, a space allegedly used to store confidential materials. The secret vault, what's inside? Perhaps the most mysterious and headline-grabbing detail to emerge from this entire case isn't tied to a person, but to a place. More specifically, a vault. According to multiple reports, Diddy allegedly had a private vault installed in one of his homes. Now, vaults aren't unusual for celebrities. After all, most high-profile figures keep sensitive documents, valuables, or memorabilia locked away. But what raised eyebrows was not just the existence of the vault, but the rumors about what might have been stored inside. Sources close to the investigation claim that the vault may have held a wide range of materials, from personal videos to signed NDAs and possibly even documentation of private dealings. Some say the contents were so sensitive that access was limited to only a few individuals. Allegedly, even longtime staff didn't know what was truly inside. These reports gained traction after a search warrant was reportedly executed on one of Diddy's properties earlier this year. While the exact findings remain sealed and unreleased to the public, insiders say the vault was one of the key points of interest during the search. That said, no confirmed list of items has been released. And to be fair, the defense has strongly dismissed these reports as sensationalist and unfounded, arguing that having a vault in one's home is both normal and legal, especially for someone in the public eye. But the speculation around its contents has only grown, with online chatter suggesting everything from industry secrets to recordings that could potentially support or refute other testimonies in the trial. Whether the vault turns out to be a red herring or a turning point in the case, one thing's for sure: it's captured the public imagination. And in a trial filled with twists and contradictions, the unanswered questions surrounding it may hold more power than anything confirmed so far. Now, with testimonies continuing and more witnesses expected to speak, the trial's final chapters are far from written. What happens next? The trial's future and Diddy's legacy. As the courtroom proceedings stretch into their next phase, the spotlight on Sean Diddy Combs has never been more intense or more uncertain. What started as a case of allegations from a few individuals has now grown into a sprawling public reckoning, with multiple voices, years of history, and layers of secrecy all competing for attention. Legal experts say the trial is still far from its conclusion. More testimonies are expected, and the defense is reportedly preparing a robust counter-narrative, aiming to discredit what they call a media-fueled character assassination. Their strategy appears to focus on undermining witness credibility, pointing out inconsistencies, and framing the accusations as financially motivated or driven by clout. But regardless of the verdict, one thing is already clear: Diddy's legacy is being rewritten in real time. For decades, he was viewed as a pioneering entrepreneur, music mogul, and cultural icon. But now, Every piece of past success is being re-examined under a new lens. Songs, interviews, old business moves. None of it is off limits anymore. Even his most loyal fans find themselves divided. Some believe in redemption and insist on waiting for due process. Others feel deeply disturbed by the sheer volume and consistency of the claims being brought forward. Meanwhile, the entertainment industry watches closely. If the trial results in a conviction, or even a prolonged stain on Diddy's name, it could signal a shift in how power, fame, and past behaviors are treated in the upper echelons of celebrity culture. But until a final ruling is made, the story is still unfolding. And with every witness, leaked document, or uncovered vault, the mystery deepens. For now, all anyone can do is keep watching and waiting. Because in this case, what happens next might not just define one man's future. It could reshape an entire era of music, media, and celebrity power.